Speedrunning an intro here. I just learned about some of the most entertaining drama of 2024. I saw it through Evil Pineley's video covering the situation 2 weeks ago, and it is still going currently today. It's about the CEO of a parchment paper business losing his mind and having this whiny temper tantrum meltdown, all because he watched a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father.
When I told my dad I was going to be getting him the same pans that Gordon Ramsay has, he was so excited. I'm talking about the hex-clad pans, and today
it's a super innocent video of this girl's dad making a meal, and the CEO of parchmentpaper.com was angrier about this than he would be if he walked in on his wife having sex with another man. Though it is quite the stretch of imagination to envision this guy, this lunatic, with any kind of companionship in his life. So after watching this, he was infuriated, went on the actual company's business account, and left a mean comment, which started a series of events he couldn't have possibly foreseen.
I posted a video yesterday of my dad cooking for me with these hex-clad pans that we had gotten. There was a comment on there where the person goes, "Must be tough living a life on easy mode." I also didn't think the comment was rude at first, so I responded with, "Lucky to have parents who make it possible." And they responded, "Yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money."
That's already such a weird comment right there. Must be nice living life on easy mode when it's just a girl getting cooked a meal by a caring father. Like, how bitter and miserable can your life possibly be to just see something like that and be like, I gotta give her a piece of my mind? That's a line that's usually used in reference to camming or OnlyFans or something. Must be nice living life on recruit difficulty because men are giving you a ton of money just to be hot or be naked or something. And this guy's taking that same energy and putting it into this situation where it's just a girl being cooked a meal by her father. Make it make sense. So he's so upset that he's doing this from the actual business account for parchmentpaper.com. So the Parchment Paper Patriot is really having a conniption. And then the poster responds saying, you know, it's supportive family, got lucky. She said she didn't even find it rude at first, which I don't know how you would see that as anything other than rude. But regardless, her response was super sweet, and he gets even more heated about that, fucking steam coming out of his ears, and goes, "Yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money." What kind of projection is this? Holy insecurity. What do you mean you have no skills? All she did was show a video of her dad cooking her a good meal. It's ridiculous to assume that she has no skills. It's based on nothing. She could have bow hunting skills, nunchuck skills. She could be one of the most skillful human beings on the fucking planet. We have no idea. And then he's going, it's just your family's money. You're suckling off their bosom because your parents have money. What is happening here? Do you have no skills because you probably order Uber Eats all the time? Is your skill just ruining businesses? Like, I mean, that's a pretty cool skill, I guess. But anyway, this is only the beginning of his rampage, and he just fully self-destructs over the course of the next few hours. It's like Chaozu from Dragon Ball Z, when Chaozu latches onto Nappa and blows himself up, but the sacrifice was in vain because Nappa barely felt anything, really. That's what happens here. Parchment Paper Patriot blows up, and the girl, totally fine, and makes an absolute clown out of this guy. Dunks on him. She obliterates this man.
And at that point, I'm just like, okay, what the hell? Like, maybe this account is hacked, because from a business account, that seems kind of weird. So I send them an email and I'm like, hey, like, I think somebody's on your business account, like, leaving cyberbullying comments. Didn't say anything else. That was it. And then I get an email from the CEO of...
I think anybody in their right mind would assume that that business account is hacked, because what little toddler would be shitting their pants, soiling their diaper over something as simple as watching a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father? So I think that's very sound logic. Oh, this account must be hacked. I'll let the business know. So she reaches out, and the CEO himself, Brandon Howard, steps forward saying, "I don't consider stating factual information is cyberbullying, but if you're offended over a comment about having no skill set while getting to frolic through life with family money as bullying, I'd call the cyberbully police. Delete the comment and move along. Cheers." Brandon, I think the department we need on this case is the cringe police, because Jiminy Christmas, holy cannoli. Oh, he tried a facts don't care about your feelings moment there. What facts are we talking about? Her having no skill set? You have no idea who she is. You know nothing about her. All you watched was her get cooked a meal. I'm sure your parents cooked you meals at some point, right? Maybe they don't anymore because you're probably insufferable to be around, so they probably cut you off. I imagine that's the case, which is why you're so upset over this moment. I don't see at all how this would be indicative of her just frolicking through life, coasting off of her family's money. That's a unreal leap in logic based on nothing at all. And honestly, she was like a good Samaritan here, like looking out for your business, thinking that you might have been hacked because of how awful this behavior is and how terrible the look it is for your business. And then you double down and make things significantly worse by being this big loser. Also, I love the chutzpah here from Big Baby Brandon to claim that she was offended over his comment, when this sensitive worm was offended first over her being made a meal. This guy needs to call the wambulance because he can't stop crying about this video of a father making a meal for his daughter.
Considering my parents literally grew up in mud huts, worked their ass off to get out of India, get us here, and get me to the position that I am and able to have a full-time job and a side career. Then he goes back to the page and goes, cyberbullying is even more funny, and the fact that you emailed us to tell us is actually hilarious. Enjoy frolicking through life and leave the rest up to us adults who create actual economic value without a trust.
Yeah, leave the heavy lifting up to the real adults, like Brandon Howard, CEO of ParchmentPaper.com. It's comical that the parchment paper guy is trying to act hard here. Like, I don't know what he expected to happen. He just looks so stupid, claiming that she's like a trust fund kid based on nothing. Literally nothing. All just gobbledygook here. All you saw was a video of her getting made a meal by her father. How could you possibly connect all of these weird dots? To me, it seems like the person who's really frolicking through life on easy mode is you, who has unlimited time in the day to respond to random people on TikTok and leave comments that just let everyone know that you're an outrageous asshole. Like, you must not be doing that well business-wise, if that's what it's boiled down to here.
They did send me a legal notice. It came from info@parchmentpapers.com, and it says that they are really worried about the safety of their team, and if I don't remove the defamatory posts on TikTok, they will be taking legal action, which I don't believe it's defamatory
because it's not defamatory at all. All she did was share his comments, which are public, in that email, his statements, all from his mouth. This stupid douchebag is just doing one of those desperate Hail Mary maneuvers when they have nothing else left and trying their absolute best to save a sinking ship from the holes that they themselves have poked in it. And it doesn't work. And it actually leads to him looking like even more of a clown because she points out some pretty interesting things about this cease and desist.
So yeah, like, I don't believe it's defamatory. I also don't believe you have a legal department because you signed it incorrectly. It says legal department at parchmentpapers.com. You forgot the dot. Did you forget to delete the part where it says like your contact information because you're using a template? And also, what's with the cease and desist? I thought it was CEASE. Who's doing your spell check?
Good heavens, Brandon Howard did some ayahuasca and tried to send a cease and desist and lost himself somewhere in the sauce. So apparently it was signed incorrectly from legal department at parchmentpapers.com. And then here's some more information on it, I suppose, where he left in your contact information in brackets. So as she points out, that means he's most likely using a template here. That is actually that shit on a teleprompter where it's like, wait for applause. And you say it out loud and you're like, ugh, I made a big boo-boo because I wasn't supposed to read that. He fucking left that in. This absolute buffoon. And the goober doesn't even know what a cease and desist is. He did seize and desist. Holy shit. I think he's the only one that works at this company. Nobody else saw this before the email got sent out. His supposed legal department okayed this. If he does have a legal department, they need to be fired right now. They need to get fired yesterday, because that is a disgrace. That is not a legal document whatsoever. Fucking your contact information in brackets, cease and desist. You couldn't have made that any worse. This legal document he tried to send over is now more worthless than the parchment paper that he's built his life upon.
Another day, another email. This time you decided to fix the typos. Congratulations. And you also told me you're fixing the typos. Very interesting thing for your legal department to say.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. She is cooking him harder than the meal that her father cooked her in the first place that started all of this. I love how he proudly calls attention to fixing the typos. Like a student in class, like, excuse me, teacher, I fixed the spelling mistakes in the cursive. Fix the typos just in case you couldn't figure out we're very serious about this issue, as your direct actions to intentionally harm to us. Oh my god, the grammar is diabolical as well. and our company is not being taken lightly. We expect action to be taken within 48 hours. See attached. It's probably a picture of Brandon Howard's butthole here going spread goatsy on her. So, this is clearly, again, written by someone that is lacking a 4th grade education. Brandon, I think your first hire at parchmentpaper.com, or pardon me, parchmentpaper.com, should be an English tutor for yourself here. This is bad. How you even attempt to run a business is beyond me. I guess they just let anyone into the parchment paper industry these days. But, yeah. So, Brandon again tries to strike back here, and again looks super dumb for it. But congrats on fixing the typos, idiot.
But your cease and desist at the bottom, I saw that it said rocketlawyer.com. So of course I had to call them and ask them, is this a real legal document? And they said no immediately, and they said this looks like a phishing scam and you should probably not respond.
Oh god, even rocketlawyer.com's shooting spitballs at Brandon now. Just saying that, no, it's definitely not real, it's probably a phishing scam, don't respond to it. Oh, what do you use the parchment paper for, Brandon? Honestly, it's almost poetic that the guy who owns a paper business can't read or write very well. I think that's poetic almost.
Anyways, then you decided you're going to start using my work email, which is public, to sign me up for corn sites, for Scientology, but you forgot that those companies will actually send you the IP where the accounts were made from. And it's funny because it's pinging in California, and I'm not in California, so... But I do remember that on Trustpilot, when you had your address up, it was coming up in California. Suspicious, huh?
Brandon's out here collecting L's like they're the Infinity Stones. He is greedy for that shit. He can't stop losing. And I can't stop thinking about how he signed off that legal document about, like, having 48 hours to comply or whatever. Trying to give it, like, a deadline. Like, this is the ultimatum. You've got to do it within 40 hours or else it's gonna get serious if you couldn't tell. That's just so lame. Like, I feel like he must have just watched Mission Impossible at some point. This message will self-destruct upon finishing. That kind of thing, and he tried to channel that into this document here to give like a sense of urgency, but it falls so flat.
But you want attention so freaking bad because you will not stop talking about this. You are basically the only one who is still talking about this at this point. Since my initial email to you where I thought your company was hacked, I have not tried to contact you. At first, you were laughing and sipping Mai Tais on the beach, and then you were having crybaby sales because this was drawing you so much attention.
So this video is only 3 days old, which is weeks after Brandon's biblical meltdown, and he's still going on about it. So this is a screenshot from his crybaby special, which, oh my god, the irony almost makes me sick. This fucking guy lacks self-awareness to an almost delusional degree. He is the only one that has been crying. He started with the waterworks and the French cries because he watched the girl get cooked a meal by her father. He is the crybaby, and yet he's still trying to push it on everyone else like they're the problem. Our thousands of real customers will appreciate this. On sale, custom dimensions on demand. Boy, howdy, Brandon. Custom dimension parchment paper? I'm out the door. I gotta get on that right now. All these real customers are probably just so excited by this. Nothing makes me believe in a company quite like them referring to their customers as the real customers. I'm sure there's probably dozens of them. Dozens.
Your fake legal letters were not working. You thought it would be a smart idea to reach out to my boss at the agency that I work for and ask him to remediate the situation for you. You thought you could tell my boss to tell me to delete my videos. Just because you involved your business by commenting from your business profile does not mean that you get to include my place of work.
Pathetic, slimy tactics from an absolute greaseball here. So he apparently contacts her boss to try and whine to him to fix it, which obviously didn't do anything. Brandon, this is so sad. This is so embarrassing.
When all of this failed, you thought it would be a great idea to send me one more email stating that you will deal with it as you see fit, whatever the hell that means. And then you decided to add this banner to your website. I'm sure you think that
this is when it gets so spicy. We do not support woke, feminist, cancel culture, hate mob groups who do nothing positive in our community. On his official parchmentpaper.com website, this guy has lost his marbles. He's off his gourd right now. He's going sicko mode. Brother, what are you even talking about? All she did was showcase your comments and made fun of you. What is the woke feminist cancel culture movement here? You made yourself look stupid and people clowned on you for it, rightfully so. You are the problem. And also, didn't you just try one of those cancel culture maneuvers by contacting her boss and her place of work to get her in trouble because of you and your beef with her? How can you lack self-awareness to this degree? It's almost criminal, I would say. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So he's got this now proudly posted on his website at that point, and I also love how he says that she does nothing positive for the community. When you came out of nowhere, the negative Nancy, just saying that she lives life on easy mode and has no skills and relies on her family's money, all just because she had a video of her father cooking for her. What are you talking about? What positive shit do you bring to the world, Brandon? Now, I will say, that section right there is just so outlandish with the woke feminist cancel culture mob being on the paper's website. It's so over the top that I half believe that might actually be faked by somebody, and I also struggle to believe that Brandon would be competent enough to even put that on his website in the first place. I just don't think he has the capability to do that. And I really don't think he has a team around him. I think it's just him. So I think that one might not be real. But to argue against that point, his statements on the official Black Label Paper Instagrams echo that same sentiment about like the woke cancel culture mob and all of that shit. So there is a chance that it's real. There is a very good chance that it's real, but I do want to put it out there that I haven't been able to 100% confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is, because as of right now, it's not on the website. But he could have just deleted it after backlash.
But you continue to talk about it, you continue to make stories about it, and you continually want the attention. As if all of this was not enough, you decided that you were going to start making all of your stories on your Black Label Paper account involving your other company now for no apparent reason. Take down another company, why don't you?
So this is his other business that he's now calling in off the bench for this drama. I cannot imagine why he thought that'd be a good idea, but it's Black Label Paper. So all of his businesses are parchment and paper related, and I would wager a guess that the quality of his product is most likely atrocious, probably not even like worthy to be toilet paper if I had to guess. So he goes, all you fucking losers need to stop messaging us about a fake TikTok account made by then her and her dumb-ass minions because her fragile little ego couldn't handle a couple smart-ass comments on IG about skill set and money. I've never had the commie bullshit app TikTok in my entire life. A bold-faced lie. Also, why would you be posting this on your business account again? Like, your real customers that didn't know about any of this are now being made aware of it, and you look so weak and pathetic in all of it. And tell that little... Oh my god. Oh, what? Oh, I can't even read these. Holy shit. Fucking losers, I swear, it's been 2 weeks almost and still have to deal with this childish bullshit. You are the only one keeping it up, by the way. You are the only one that still is doing this and engaging with it. No one else is talking about it. This drama it's dried up. It's gone stale. But he keeps putting it on people's radar. He keeps serving this up on a plate to us. He's cooking it for us. And we're eating it. He's doing it. He's the chef. She is too immature to settle this privately, and I'm not going to let some woke hate mob ruin my reputation because they live in some mystical fairyland of make-believe and think because they have 20k followers they're doing something in life. Clown emojis. I also can't help but laugh at how much he keeps trying to throw out woke, cancel culture, all of that kind of shit. Just a bunch of buzzwords that don't even apply here, because all that happened was she showed these comments from a laughably embarrassing CEO that he publicly made and then shared his email where he doubled down on it. That's it. It's all his fault. There's nothing else beyond that. And he just can't accept it. He can't come to terms with reality because he lives in the mystical fairyland. Like, he's in the fucking Narnia. Nobody else. It's just him. Here's another one of his posts, this time on a really cute background. He talks about Business Insider and some articles reaching out for a comment. Some fragile ego wannabe influencer IG about their lack of skill set and frolicking through life, where she got so offended and cited the woke hate mob smear campaign against me to get me canceled. Fake accounts were made by her delusional woke followers. He just keeps sprinkling that in there as much as possible, just trying desperately. I cleared up the reality of the situation with all three media outlets. It didn't fit their narrative either, which was to further extend the adult children drama. God. So after 9 years in business, 3 business publications don't care about the good I've done and the help I give to people on a daily fucking basis. Yeah, I'm sure your parchment is invaluable. I'm sure you're doing a great service. You really seem like a stand-up gentleman. Their entire goal is just to hate people who try and do good. You really seem like you're striving to do good, Brandon. You really fucking do, brother. Yeah. What a saint. Oh, they demand respect, yet do absolutely nothing to earn it, and hate every person who doesn't bend over for their spineless agenda. If you're going to try and shit on me, my brand, business, and companies, you losers need a job, hobby, life outside of TikTok. Fucking losers in their 20s with an 11-year-old intelligence, but yeah, I'm the asshole. Yeah, you are the asshole, Brandon. Also, you're the one with the 11-year-old intelligence. You can't even read and write properly. You tried to make a legal department, like, to cosplay as a legal department, and couldn't even get the emails correctly. Typos out the wazoo, and even in the ones where you fix the typos and even proudly proclaim that you fix the typos, you still make a typo. You suck. Like, you are the one with the child brain.
Sure what your end game here is, and I'm not even sure that you know what your end game here is, but in your own words, I don't have time to bicker back and forth about some nonsense comments, nor is it my problem that you're offended over them.
Yeah, that about sums that up. I think she did a great job of just closing the book on it with that final statement there. Fucking fire. I think this whole drama has been so wacky. Like, entertainingly silly. All over nothing. It started over nothing. Just a really insecure, sensitive guy who lost his mind. And couldn't help but do as much damage to him and his business's reputation. And very impressive stuff. I had to talk about this when I learned about it. Huge thanks to Pinely for showing me this, because this is gold. This is some of that, like, top tier drama. You know what I mean? So I had to talk about it. That's about it. See ya. I bet I can send a large number of you watching this video into a panic by saying a single word. Gluten! Now, calm down, calm down. No reason to stay in this frenzy. It's okay. There's no gluten here. It's just I'm mentioning it. Gluten is one of those things that's been this menace behind the scenes for a long time. People know about all the normie shit like high fructose corn syrup, the red dyes, all of that, MSG, all that hoopla. But gluten is one of those things that only in recent times has really started to gain steam as the culprit for a lot of people's tummy aches, as well as just like a general sensitivity to gluten for a growing number of people, which has led to the rise of gluten-free options. And I myself have dabbled. Many of you might remember, like 6 months ago, I tried to go gluten and dairy-free because I thought, you know, maybe it'd make me feel better. Even though I don't think I have like a big lactose intolerance or gluten intolerance, I just decided to try it because I didn't think it'd be that difficult. And it wasn't that difficult, but it also didn't do anything to make me feel better. I was still burping and shitting and farting all the same. Like, it didn't really do a whole lot for my gut biome or anything, so I figured cutting all of these foods out didn't give me superpowers. What's the point? I'm just gonna go back to eating the way I was. Fuck it. But that's not the case for everybody. Some people really do benefit greatly from cutting gluten in particular out of their diets. There are just some people with a predisposition to not tolerate gluten all that well. So yesterday I read a story about a vegan bakery that obviously was selling gluten-free donuts. And then it turns out that a nefarious evil mastermind in this pipeline was actually supplying them with Dunkin' Donuts, not the vegan gluten-free donuts they thought they were getting. It's Dunkin' Donuts, so it's turbo gluten. It's not like just a hint of gluten, they are like the gluten glutton. Obviously, after they learned that it was 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt Dunkin' Donuts, America truly ran on deception there because they got very upset, and rightfully so. Having food be labeled properly is extremely important because if there are ingredients in certain items, there are people that can just straight up fucking die from it. Now, granted, there's not a lot of people that are going to be keeling over, shedding the mortal coil from consuming gluten. Even those with celiac disease don't typically die from eating gluten, as I understand it, but it's still very bad for them. Now, I imagine this opens up the supplier to numerous lawsuits if anyone had unintentionally consumed a gluten donut when it was sold to them under the impression that it was gluten-free, thus they were lied to. I imagine they could come for them legally. Did you hear about the vegan bakery getting accused of reselling Dunkin' Donuts as vegan and gluten-free? What? Long Island baker investigated for reselling Dunkin' Donuts as own vegan gluten-free treats. That's a Hustlers University graduate right there. He's drop-shipping donuts. Wait. Oh my goodness. Galaxy brain scheme. A Long Island baker is accused of taking a few shortcuts to serve up her customers vegan and gluten-free treats. What is that word? The Patchgog-based savory fig has come under fire after being called up for allegedly attempting to pass off Dunkin' Donuts as its own. The New York Division of Food Safety and Inspection, along with the Suffolk County Department of Health, are conducting a full investigation into the allegations. The division confirmed. How'd they get caught? Oh my god, I hate these websites where you have to pay just to read the article. I already turned my ad block off for you vultures, just let me read the goddamn article. The owners of a Long Island, New York-based vegan market are claiming that the donuts they ordered from a local vegan bakery were actually from Dunkin', and a state agency is investigating. The evidence for the accusation? Dunkin's signature D sprinkles. Cindy Snacks co-owner John Stingel and Indiana Cindy K first posted on Instagram on March 3rd. They said the items they purchased from the Savory Fig were delivered by baker Michelle Siriana on February 23rd. I, John, immediately became concerned as to why this one donut was decorated differently than all the others and in such a strikingly similar way to a recognizable chain. Yeah, that's pretty blatant. I was going to say, how would you even tell that the donuts came from Dunkin'? But I think it's pretty obvious now. Not exactly a mistake you make on accident. Like, you wouldn't be able to taste the difference, but you can clearly see it. Hey, I in no way mean to insult you or question your products, but this donut was in the box with the strawberry frosted. These are definitely little D sprinkles. Ones Dunkin' Donut uses. Oh yeah, the evidence is clear as day. Oh my goodness, they've even got the chemistry kit out. This is as thorough as it gets. They've got the gluten strips. You can't hide. God, it's like a COVID test. Easy gluten. There is a mutual trust and respect the vegan community, especially small businesses, have amongst ourselves. We might all live differently, but we all have the same deep core values that consuming animal products is morally, ethically, and ecologically wrong. We are enraged that this trust and respect was broken and that we were unknowingly put in a position to perpetuate that betrayal. We want all of our customers and community to know we take this betrayal extremely seriously and are looking into legal action. We will update with any proceedings as they come. Most importantly, we want to apologize from the depths of our soul to anyone who unknowingly consumed these products. This is our nightmare come true, and none of you deserve this level of disgusting perjury. Neither Cindy Snacks owner nor Siriana have responded to people's request for comment. The Savory Fig's Instagram account appears to have been deactivated. They're trying to hide. The spokesperson added that even though Savory Fig is registered as a home processor, and thus exempt from certain licensing requirements, it still must clearly identify all allergens in products. People also reached out to the Suffolk County Department of Health and was told that if Cindy Snacks filed an official complaint, they would have been referred to New York State Agriculture and Market, which oversees home processors. While Cindy Snacks said they won't be issuing further statements on the situation, they explained on Instagram that they shared the initial post with the safety of the vegan community in mind. We want to make it clear that we came forward with this information to keep our community of local vegans and those with food allergies safe from future harm. What an interesting situation. Trying to poison us with gluten. Well, gluten intolerance is a real thing. Like, I get it if you want to avoid gluten and getting lied to about it being gluten-free and then wondering why your ass keeps blowing up. Like, I'd get mad too. I get it. Like, having shit mislabeled is very not good. What do you think about people who aren't technically allergic to gluten buying up gluten-free products? Well, I'm not gonna demand they be handcuffed and thrown in jail for buying gluten-free when they're not intolerant of it. Like, maybe they just like the taste of the gluten-free option better. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't think there's any shortage of gluten-free products. But I love that idea that it's exclusive for only gluten intolerance and you have to demonstrate that you can't handle gluten or something to earn the right, like a license. A license to buy gluten-free. Now, this isn't one of those situations where this is somehow just some tragic mistake or misunderstanding, something went awry in the pipeline and it was a big ol' whoopsie-daisy. That's just not possible in this case. You would know that you were selling Dunkin' Donuts hand-me-downs. You were fucking putting out the sloppy seconds of your Dunkin' order and peddling them as gluten-free, knowing full well they are not. There is no other way that this could happen. It is malicious. Now, I don't know what's gonna come next for the supplier of the Dunkin' Donuts under the guise that they're gluten-free. I imagine it's probably not going to be great for business, if there is even going to be a business left for them here. But yeah, I just wanted to share this story because this is a pretty fascinating one. I wonder if there's more cases of this going on behind the scenes that we just don't know about because gluten-free has become such a marketing buzzword. Organic has been one for a long time, and I have to imagine there's a lot of foul play, a lot of fishy business going on behind the scenes there. But I do think that it's probably also prevalent in gluten-free as well. I think that this isn't isolated. I think others have just been better at hiding it. But that's just my tinfoil hat conspiracy at the very least. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah. I've become addicted to the wacky stories Inside Edition covers, and I've got a spicy one for you that's fresh off the press. This bun is straight from the oven. It is brand spankin' new. It's about a Secret Service agent who allegedly breaks into a hair salon to use the bathroom and then leaves everything unlocked with an alarm blaring, which summons 2 more authorities to go in there and just kind of hang out and take some mints before leaving. It is a baffling story, and I use the word allegedly here, even though there's security camera footage that show her going up to the door, putting tape over the camera, and then going into the facility. The only thing that's alleged at this point is whether or not she left a floater or just took a pee.
And controversy over what happened at a hair salon near a Kamala Harris event in Massachusetts. A Secret Service agent can be seen on surveillance video covering up the camera. Then EMS workers were spotted inside eating mints from the salon and reportedly using the bathroom. But the question is, did someone break in?
If you ask a tiny brain homunculus, the answer is a resounding yes. I feel like there's no other explanation here, because she is on camera grabbing a chair in order to boost herself up so she can tape over the security camera. Who does that if they have permission to use the facility to take a shit? That doesn't make any sense. And I couldn't help but giggle very hard when the other authorities show up and just start taking mints with the alarms blaring after the Secret Service agent busts in here. What else could possibly be the explanation for climbing up and covering the camera if she had permission? Oh, well, actually, she's a very shy pooper, and the frequency of the cameras interrupt her circadian rhythm, and it makes it hard for her to shit in public, so she did this in order to block all of the infrared 5G so she could, you know, take a dump in peace. Like, there's just nothing that makes sense. There's no explanation for why the Secret Service agent would climb and cover the camera if this was all by the book. Just a standard handshake agreement that you can go piss and shit in my toilet.
That's a Secret Service agent on the porch of a beauty salon. The agent was part of a detail assigned to protect Kamala Harris when she appeared at a fundraising event in Pittsfield, Massachusetts 2 weeks ago. The salon was closed for the day. Now look, 2 minutes later, the agent returns and pulls a chair over. Then she climbs on top, tears off some tape, and covers the lens.
The Secret Service as a whole has been in some boiling hot water recently. Their reputation is worse than chickenpox right now for obvious reasons, like the Trump assassination attempt. Then we had the former Secret Service director make an absolute fool of herself at the hearing, and complete embarrassment, which then led to her stepping down from her position because she overdosed on cringe. And now this. The hits just keep coming. Now that's what I call music volume 55. This shit is crazy. And I'm not even talking about what came out of her ass. So the Secret Service is trying to make the claim that they had permission to be there, or at least they were under the impression that they had permission to be there, which I'm just going to say is a bunch of barnacles. That's some fucking horseradish right there. Nobody would cover the camera if they weren't doing anything wrong. That doesn't make any sense.
The beauty salon owner says when she opened her shop later that day, the lock on the door appeared to have been picked.
And when she checked her interior surveillance camera, she found this shocking scene. The alarm going off and 2 uniformed women, one of them grabbing mints off the counter.
A source tells Inside Edition that the women were not Secret Service, but apparently were among local first responders working with the Secret Service team.
I love how the alarm is just blaring this entire time, and these 2 authorities show up, and you expect they'd be like trying to figure out what's going on, like, who's the burglar, where are they at? You know, the Hamburglar just came in here and caused mayhem and left a whole number 2 in the toilet. We gotta find the culprit. But instead, what they're doing is just taking some mints. I guess they were under the impression that the alarm was the mint alarm that was welcoming them in to just grab some mints.
So, why did they enter the beauty shop? According to reports, to use the bathroom.
But even if they're not Secret Service agents, some are still blaming the embattled agency.
Secret Service agents broke in to that salon owner's place.
A Secret Service spokesman tells Inside Edition the agency has reached out to the beauty salon owner. Our personnel would not enter or instruct our partners to enter a business without the owner's permission.
Yes, of course. When I get permission to do something, I usually like to do it in the most suspicious fashion possible. So if I was invited to grab a necklace from a jewelry store in the display case, I would probably do that while wearing a ski mask and breaking the glass open with a big sledgehammer. What kind of fucking putrid drivel is coming out of their mouth with this? What do you mean? The lock was picked, she covered the camera, the alarm is blaring. How was there any semblance of an understanding that this was a completely normal interaction where they had permission to be there? That doesn't make sense. It's just a violation of this business owner's constitutional rights. This Secret Service agent didn't even need toilet paper in the bathroom because she was busy wiping her ass with the Constitution. This shit is so foul.
The president of the county ambulance service says the paramedics inside were using a bathroom they were told they could use by people in supposed authority.
How? The alarm is blaring. What did they think was going on there? A shardy party or something where everyone was just welcome to use the bathroom and the alarm was just to, get everyone's attention that, hey, this bathroom is available to just wreak havoc on? How could anyone get the impression that this bathroom is totally open while the alarm is blaring the entire time and the business owner and nobody is even there to be seen? How do you get that impression?
We spoke to former Secret Service agent Jim Rathman.
Entering, using the bathroom, eating the candy, that part is not something that is normal and should not have happened.
Obviously, it shouldn't have happened. I can't imagine it's standard protocol here. No one's expecting the Secret Service agents to be wearing a diaper that they'll soil themselves in where they don't get bathroom breaks or something and they just have to hold it forever. But they're expecting some level of decorum where they can feel safe knowing that the Secret Service isn't just going to pick their locks to use their toilet. You know what I mean? A spokesperson reiterated that the personnel wouldn't enter or instruct partners to enter without owner's permission. They believed they had it here. They then offered to pay for damages, cleaning, or the business's private alarm bill. The owner said they were happy with the apology and it brought a level of accountability. However, they said, when they cleaned up, they left the tape on my camera and they left my back door completely unlocked. What could have happened in that hour and a half or 2 hours that you guys left the building unlocked? Which is a really good point. Yeah, thanks for doing the bare minimum of taking some level of accountability, even though you're trying to weasel your way out of just admitting that a Secret Service agent had the grumbly tummy and needed to use a bathroom immediately, so they picked a lock and broke in. That, to me, seems like the most likely explanation for all this, but I'm no crack shot detective or anything. But even with you offering to pay for any damages that might have been incurred by the business, it still fails to account for how much worse this could have been since the lock was allegedly picked and since there's still camera or tape on the camera. The salon was left without any defenses. Its force field was shut down from the inside here. It was just left completely open and accessible to anyone, as illustrated by 2 other authorities coming in and taking some mints. This could have been significantly worse for the salon here. It's just lucky no one decided to act while the camera was disabled and everything was unlocked. So yeah, just another Secret Service L here. That's really about it. So yeah. Welcome to the splash zone. I'm just gonna cannonball into the pool right away here because this story's got me heated. I am boiling right now. On YouTube, there is one unforgivable sin, an unwritten rule that every creator and user is aware of. It's kind of like a treaty, a truce that we've all shaken hands on and accept because it is inexcusable, slimy, and anytime someone tries to take a bite of the forbidden fruit, they rightfully get their cheeks disciplined, a very firm spanking from the whole community, and most of the time they end up pretty much losing their career from it, from their own self-destructive narcissism and greed. That is false copyright strikes. And unfortunately, that's what we're talking about today. A big YouTube channel named Magnates Media is facing termination because he received 3 fraudulent copyright strikes from another YouTube channel named Business Casual, aka Alex Edson. Now, Alex Edson is a special fucking malicious goofball. You see, this guy didn't even build the Business Casual channel from scratch or anything. He bought it when it was already extremely popular. So he didn't even put the fucking work in, which is an absolute goober move off rip. But you've probably heard of this channel recently because he had a viral video talking about why he's suing YouTube. And while there is some compelling points and evidence, there's also a bunch of dirty barnacles in here as well, with some shady claims and some claims that were just absolutely wrong, like provably false. But overall, like, the video did have a lot to it, which is why it was so popular, and it was well put together, it was high production, and made some good points and some not so great points. But overall, it was kind of odd. And a couple YouTubers actually pointed out a lot of it. In fact, Upper Echelon made 3 videos kind of covering all of it, which I think make very good points. Overall, the whole thing was odd, if nothing else. And now Alex is back from the septic tanks, he's risen from the sewers like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he's bringing bad news. He's striking down Magnates Media with what I and anyone with a functioning cerebral cortex will classify as blatant abuse of the copyright systems. So, he's issued 3 strikes to Magnates Media, which sets his channel up for termination in the coming days. He's already received a notice that his channel will be taken down because of these strikes from Business Casual. Let me just lay down the brass tacks here with the level of lunacy we're dealing with these claims. So, Business Casual is basically taking away Magnates Media's entire livelihood because he believes that some of his content looked similar to his based on an editing technique called parallax editing. So, he struck him 3 times for 3 separate videos. The total content time of those 3 videos is over an hour and a half long. And of those 3 videos, in total, 10 seconds, roughly 10 seconds worth of footage, Alex is saying belonged to him. So in one of the videos, it is actually just a single image that lasts for like 3 seconds, and he's saying that he stole it directly from his video because the parallax editing technique was a dead giveaway. But Magnates Media has proven beyond a shadow of doubt that not only is that image a public domain image, because they were covering a similar topic, so of course they're going to have similar images because it's a fucking public domain image. So he proved it's a public domain image and that the parallax editing technique was done by his editor. And he has like a 16-minute video showcasing his editor doing the editing on that photo to prove he didn't take it from Business Casual. And they don't even look similar in any of these cases, but this is how outrageous Alex Edson's claims are. In total, about 10 seconds he has a problem with, saying that it looks similar to his work, thus it must have been stolen, and he has a right to terminate this channel. And Magnates Media channel will be terminated because of these 3 strikes as of right now. He's already received the notice that it's coming. It's right around the corner. That is fucking frightening and just downright evil from Business Casual. Upper Echelon made an incredible video going over this entire subject from top to bottom, inside and out. I highly recommend checking out that video. I'm going to put a link to it in the description. He does an amazing job breaking it all down thoroughly, as well as some other incredibly fucked up things Alex has done.
If you read the other provisions of the DMCA Safe Harbor, Section 512, it's clear that Congress did not want parties to have to sue to enforce their rights. So while it may be that the system could be gamed on the other side, that's how Congress intended it to be. End quote. That right there is Business Casual arguing that simply because he filed some strikes, it therefore means that YouTube needs to terminate the entire channel without him proving anything in a court of law. That's what we just read, and that appears to be precisely what he's doing now to a channel named Magnates Media.
What he was reading there comes from a completely different case, but just hearing that is beyond alarming. That is fucking chaos. That is the opening of Pandora's box in the worst way imaginable. So Alex Edson is an actual villain, and what he's doing here is completely unjustifiable. This is beyond fucking tragic. There's absolutely no argument he nor anyone could make on his behalf that would justify him taking down an entire channel, ruining the entire career and livelihood of that creator based on similarity of public domain images. Now, they made videos on similar topics. Obviously, they did do that, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like Alex owns that whole topic or anything. And Alex even made a bold claim that Magnates Media stole his scripts from his videos, which is so laughably delusional. I imagine he was twirling his little evil mustache when he made that claim, because Business Casual's videos on the same content as Magnate Media is like 19 minutes, 20 minutes long sometimes. Magnate's media coverage is like 50 plus minutes long. So Magnate's media does a much more thorough breakdown and deep dive on everything than Business Casual, so how the fuck would he have stolen any of the scripts? But even still, Magnate's media played ball with it. He tap danced with the claims and still proved his innocence by showing all of the timestamps of the editing done to his script from fucking start to finish. Alex tried to claim that he stole his scripts and plugged it into ChatGPT to generate a somewhat different script while still maintaining his video's DNA. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just using random buzzwords in his stupid little smooth brain. That's so laughable. What a fucking joke of a person. And it's sickening to see him do this to someone he views as competition. That's the only explanation I can think of for why he'd even target this channel. There is absolutely no justification or argument someone can make that would convince me that what Alex is doing here is just, and he has a right to do so. If there really was an issue where he felt like these images were stolen, like, oh, you took this image that my editor worked hard on editing, he could have reached out to Magnate's Media. And Magnate's Media has said multiple times on Twitter that he has tried to reach out to Alex himself to try and resolve this whole situation amicably. But Alex isn't responding. He's giving the cold shoulder, fucking full radio silence. But you could have reached out and said, hey, can you remove that? Or some other different solution that doesn't involve striking. That is the nuclear option. That is the harshest punishment that you can dish out. And it's highly unnecessary here when all of the offending content that you believe is too similar to yours only accounts for 10 seconds out of over an hour and a half worth of content. That makes no sense. It's fucking ridiculous, and it's shameful. It is beyond shameful. Another YouTuber made a great video covering this situation as well, which I'll link in the description too, and he leads to a bigger conversation to be had about what this could mean for the entire platform going forward, as well as he talks about something that I think is important we mention as well, that if Magnate's Media tries to push back and defend himself, fight back against Alex Edson legally, Alex Edson may very well just turn around and sue him. He has shown he is more than willing to do that, and it just seems like he is vaguely alluding to the fact that he would be open to doing that against Magnate's Media should he try and defend himself against his claims here. So, just an actual piece of shit. Now, what Scott highlights, and something that I'd also like to talk about, is what it could mean for the whole platform should this behavior continue. It would mean that if you, let's say, are doing a, video essay on a topic that another channel has covered, you might be at risk of them striking your channel down because you used the same image they used. You were covering the same topic and you may have used the same image, and maybe you just used very standard editing techniques like, TV static effect, or a very common one you see in all video essays these days are the crumpled paper backgrounds. A lot of video essays today use the crumpled paper background. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, should this kind of shit continue, you could very well be next on the chopping block for someone who said, hey, I have a right to use the crumpled paper background. You have lifted my editing technique. This work is too similar to mine. Here's a strike for it. I think it's pretty obvious how that would be absolutely awful to the platform overall. So really the whole thing is terrible. This whole situation is really bad for YouTube entirely. I've only scratched the very tip of this iceberg with how disgusting this whole situation is, so I do encourage you once again to watch the Upper Echelon video as well as Scott Schaefer's video. Mudahar also just posted something about it, and all three of them are far more knowledgeable on all of the nuance to this subject than I am. I just wanted to give a general overview of everything, and I'll just quickly try and cover my own ass before Alex Edson tries to stick his tongue in it. I'm just giving my opinion on everything. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't pass the bar. I can't say for sure if these are fraudulent claims or if it's an alleged abuse of the copyright system. I'm just giving my dumb, stupid caveman brain opinion on it and saying that I think you suck, Alex. I think you are a revolting, stinky piece of dog shit that not even the flies want to be around. That's all. I'm just here to kind of make fun of you and point out a problem here with your behavior. So yeah, here's hoping Magnate's Media doesn't lose his channel from all of this absolute mumbo jumbo. That would be extremely upsetting to see. Hoping for the best for him and his channel and a good outcome from this whole situation here. That's really about it. So yeah. Yesterday I found myself in the center of the stupidest controversy I've ever been involved in. And that's saying something. That's an achievement. Because 5 years ago, I had beef with the old school RuneScape team because I got banned for botting when I posted a video about how I made the world's worst auto-clicking machine. If you can even call this a machine. I Frankensteined together this absolute abomination with a children's screwdriver, a toy screwdriver, and a bunch of tape. Like, I Jimmy Neutroned the worst thing the world's ever seen to help me click when I went to take a shit while on my thieving grind. The thing is about... I'm getting kind of sidetracked on this. This dude doesn't even work as an auto-clicker because when it came to thieving, I'd still have to come back and manually go up to click the coin pouch. So it was really only there for literally maybe a minute while I was away to go to the bathroom, and it still couldn't even fully auto-click on its own and be self-sufficient, because I'd have to come in and manually human input clicking the coin pouch. It was still the dumbest ban in RuneScape history. So, I've been in some dumb controversy. But what happened yesterday blew my mind, because I actually just could have never even imagined it would be an issue in the first place. I posted a compilation video of my entire Elden Ring DLC playthrough of my fist-only build, where I would only be using fist-based weapons, giving them the power of the good old knuckle sandwich, the 1-2, the Law and Order. No summons, just good old-fashioned meat. And I finished the DLC, I really enjoyed it, and posted a long highlight of how the whole run went. And I was really happy with how the run went, and I thought the video was a fucking banger. But I made the mistake of titling the video, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is Easy. I thought the title was pretty obviously sarcastic, and it's actually a title I've used frequently throughout my entire time on YouTube. Here's just a quick screenshot of just a batch of videos I called Blank is an Easy Game, or Blank is Easy. And to those of you that have been eating your carrots with that sharp eyesight, you might notice I actually titled the Elden Ring video down there the same thing. Elden Ring is an easy game. And it wasn't controversial back then, but because the DLC's become a hot button issue over the difficulty of it, people took it as me insulting them by calling it easy. So it became a pretty big talking point on a few Twitter threads as well as a bit on Reddit about how much of an asshole I was for calling the video Elden Ring DLC is easy. Don't worry, I've been successfully bullied into renaming it Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is hard. The re-education here has been successful. I've been programmed to now know that sarcasm will never work in a video title, even in something as insignificant as a video game subject here, about the difficulty of it. Like, if you watch the video, there's multiple times I talk about it being difficult, but still fun. And it took me 66 tries to kill the final boss. It took me 3 hours. It's not exactly like I was trying to hide that fact or anything. It took a while. It wasn't easy. I thought it was pretty obvious, if anyone even bothered to sit down and watch any moments of the video itself. But perhaps that's an unrealistic expectation. People don't need to actually watch the thing they're getting mad about, I guess. I truly never thought this would be controversial, because I've used that title for so many videos in the past without issue. But the big 2024 is presenting new problems out of thin air, I guess, here. I'm gonna be totally honest here, sports fans, I don't get it. I don't know what there is to be fuming about. Let's say I truly did find the DLC to be easy. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? If I find it easy and you find it super hard, why is that still cause for anger? It's not some kind of personal attack against you or anything. It's truly just not a big deal if we disagree on the difficulty of something. Now, in this case, we agree that it's hard. So, like, it's actually just over nothing just because you couldn't be bothered to watch the video and got mad about the silly title. A title, again, that I have used actually probably 30, 40 times without it ever being an issue. Until now. Until the Elden Ring DLC was the one that had this title slapped on it. I still think it's a pretty trivial thing to get mad about, but I'm not here to, like, rant about it for a super long time to try and change your mind on it. I'm not trying to fucking, like, jack into your brain and start moving levers around to make you feel like it, you know, wasn't a big deal. If it made you upset, then I apologize for it. It truly was just a sarcastic title. Like, again, I thought that was pretty clear in the actual content of the video itself. And again, it's a title I've used so many times without issue. I could have never possibly predicted fucking Nostradamus, Baba Vanga, couldn't have predicted that it would be an issue this time. At least in my eyes, I don't think it would be, because I've used it so many times. For many other hard games, mind you. So yeah, I don't think the Elden Ring DLC is easy. I find it difficult. Let's set the record straight. I really enjoyed the challenge. I had a great time with it. To date, that final boss in the DLC is the hardest in any game I've ever played. It took me 66 tries and a little over 3 hours, but beating that final boss is one of the best feelings I've had in gaming in quite some time, especially because I did it with Old Faithful right here. Gave him the Why I Oughta special. So it felt great to finally triumph over that final boss. I do have a couple of complaints about the final boss. I'm not going to get into spoilers, so don't worry, I'm going to talk broadly here. In Phase 2 of the final boss, there is a legitimate issue that needs to be fixed with the visual clutter. The final boss uses attacks that are actually fucking blinding, like Piccolo casting a solar flare. Every couple of attacks that the final boss has will inevitably spawn very, very bright particle effects that make it impossible to see what's even happening around you or even in front of you. So they end up masking a lot of the boss's moves, so you can't even see some of them coming, which I am confident was not on purpose. I don't think that was the design philosophy, to be casting an infinite fucking smoke screen so you can't see the boss. It's just too bright. I really think that's something they'd need to, like, tone down the brightness without necessarily nerfing the moveset, because I actually think the moveset's just fine. The hitboxes are really tight, actually, on the final boss, and I had tons of attempts to experience the hitboxes. I don't have any problems with the hitboxes themselves. It's just so bright and so much clutter that it makes it almost impossible sometimes to see what move is being thrown at you. Coupled with the fact that the boss has really long, puffy hair, it's oftentimes you can't react to something because you can't see it. Between the visual clutter of the particle effects from some of the attacks and the boss's hair itself, sometimes you actually will just get hit by a bullshit blaster that you never saw because the hair was in your fucking face, as well as all these lights that are flashing like you just walked into an EDM rave. It's like that. I don't think that's on purpose. So I think that is something that they need to legitimately address. And I think it's the reason why a lot of people are getting kind of hung up on Phase 2 of that boss, because I feel like if you could see it better, you could learn the patterns a lot better and be more efficient at dodging. But because sometimes you can't see it at all, there's not a whole lot of progress you make with the dodge timings. So I do want to put that out there. Even though I really enjoyed beating the final boss, it was very frustrating and quite a big headache when I would die, like have my cheek spread by something I actually couldn't see under any circumstances because of too much clutter and too much hair. Goofball must have just got their hair done right before the fight, and goodness gracious, the buff that gave to the boss cannot be understated. So yeah, hair, visual clutter, huge complaints about the final boss from me. Other than that, though, I really did enjoy the DLC. There, like I mentioned in the last video, talking about the DLC, there are a few bosses, and more, since I finished the game, that I recognized, have janky hitboxes. By far, the worst is Commander Gaius. Commander Gaius has an unforgivably terrible hitbox on the hog that he rides. Hog Rider is by far the worst boss in this game. Like, I'm not just talking about DLC. I think Commander Gaius is the worst boss in all of Elden Ring. That boss just super sucks. Like, the hitbox is broken, actually broken. So, yeah. There definitely is some complaints that I have with the DLC, but overall, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm sorry for the title of the Shadow of the Erdtree video. I wasn't trying to make anyone feel bad. To me, I thought it was just harmless silliness, and I'd used it so many times in the past, it didn't register that it could be an issue. So I guess going forward, I just won't call things easy in the title anymore. But anyway, just want to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. Every now and again, there's some extremely niche drama that I get made aware of, and almost every time without fail, it is extraordinarily entertaining. Yesterday, I was made aware of some drama in a art community, but not like general art, it was poster art. So a company called Poster Spy was contacted by a film festival to do some art for them. But the rate they were offering for the work was really low, so Poster Spy declined. And this was taken as a declaration of war. This was an event so powerful in the poster art community, it was like the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The organizer of the film festival went into a complete, unhinged frenzy But before getting into all that, I'd like to give a thanks to today's sponsor, Honkai Star Rail. Big thanks to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring today's video. Honkai Star Rail is a new strategy RPG which features a deep and fun turn-based combat system, as well as large maps with an emphasis on exploration, as well as a lot of puzzle-solving elements. It's free to play, and it also supports cross-platform play, so that way you can log in on mobile or PC and the data is shared across all the platforms. It's a sci-fi epic set in a universe spanning thousands of years. You get to experience a meticulously crafted sci-fi world through side stories and rich in-game lore, and it's all presented beautifully with stunning effects during battle that keeps the combat very fulfilling and always engaging. From orbital cannons, ice walls, full-fledged armies, just a ton that make it extremely exciting. And of course the character art design is amazing, and there's also highly polished cutscenes as well as beautiful music to accompany everything. It's another new fantastic game from the makers of Genshin Impact, Hoyoverse. So if you're interested in checking it out, you can pre-register for the game using the link in the description below for some special rewards. Huge thanks again to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring today's video. He started stomping his feet around, soiling his diaper, going on massive tirades about like how disrespectful it was to decline, and then eventually hatched his evil supervillain plan of using AI art instead, but then blaming Poster Spy for suggesting it. So the company that guy ran is called Animalist Fabula, and they're doing a film festival, and for promotional pieces of art, he wanted to commission Poster Spy but wasn't offering enough to make it worth their time, so instead used AI art, but then wanted to make a big stink about it because he let people know that this is all AI generated art, no artists were paid for this work, and said that this was a suggestion from Poster Spy, which is very not great in the art field right now, because obviously artists would like to continue getting commissioned work and not be replaced by AI. And the organizer of the film festival, his name's Tom McPhee, he knew that. So he wanted to ruin the reputation of Poster Spy in the biggest way that he could. So he just started blaming them for suggesting AI art instead of paying artists, even though that was never the case. He just offered a shit deal that Poster Spy declined. I've never seen a professional get this mad about getting told no for commissioned work. Tom McPhee was more upset about this than if he found his own wife cheating on him. He went on crazy long rants that Poster Spy publicly put on Twitter for all of us to enjoy. Now, this is important. The person behind Poster Spy that directly interacted with Tom McPhee, his name is Jack. So every time that Tom McPhee is emailing Poster Spy, he's always talking to Jack and making it clear. So he'll say these big things like, "Change or die, Jack. That's the way the universe works. Change or die, Jack." It honestly sounds like he's pretending to be Senator Armstrong out of Metal Gear Rising. "Nanomachine, son. Come on, Jack." Like, that, he is literally Senator Armstrong, but if he was the lamest fucking goofball of all time. So I want to go over all of this and show you all of the receipts that Poster Spy put on Twitter. Poster Spy was recently accused of suggesting a film festival use AI and not pay artists. This is categorically not true. Earlier this week I was asked by Tom McPhee, the executive director of Animalist Fabula, to run a poster competition for his film festival poster. I declined, citing that artists should deserve fair payment. Thanks to Jack at Poster Spy for recommending we use AI to generate our art and save our non-profit money. What a piece of shit. What the fuck? Wait. What? You were a huge help yesterday. Thanks again. We're excited you're going to share this example with the collective. It's a great example of economics for anyone to see in real time. I will credit you for helping our tiny nonprofit with this really great cost-saving process to use AI to generate art to communicate our mission to the world. Even though this guy just turned down their very low commission rate. So they were so upset that he turned them down that they're now throwing all of the blame for them using AI on him to make him look bad. What a piece of shit. What? That is so ridiculously petty. This guy seems fucking unhinged. I came to you to try and spin money, dude, with your peeps. You go off the rails, sick your peeps on our page, and go into a rage fest all because you made AI the most relevant option when you said go somewhere, just not here. And I have issues? I really don't. I'm super happy with how things turned out, Jack. And I just can't thank you enough. Go ahead, rage all you want. I'm smiling and I'm super happy how things turned out. And with every email you send and goon you send to our page, I revel. I revel greatly. You were mean to me, Jack. How old is this guy? 9? You were so mean to me, Jack. That's why I ate all the animal crackers and left you none. And told me to go away with my money elsewhere when I came to you for help. I did go away, and you're still not happy. Is there something fundamentally wrong with you, Jack? The world is changing radically fast, and it appears you just got run over by the way you used to look at things. Change or die, Jack. That's what the universe is all about. Change or die. Bro, this Tom McPhee has watched way too much, like, B-tier anime. What the fuck? Why are you reading it like that? Because of his punctuation. I'm smiling and I'm super happy, period. How things turned out, period. It's the way he wrote it. I really don't, period. Like, that's how he has written it. Like an actual anime monologuer. I can actually imagine him holding a skull in one of his hands while typing with the other as he's giving this speech. This motherfucker thinks he's a villain in an 80s movie for real. I know. He is super mentally unwell, judging by the way he's written this. Because keep in mind, all Jack did was say, no thank you, 250 is a little low. You should find someone else for that price. So instead of doing that, they used AI, and then when people realized it was AI, they just said it was all posters or Poster Spy's idea for using AI, which is a big no-no in the art community. So then they throw all of it on him, and then for some reason still come back with a message. Oh, cute, he wants to get Wired UK to write an article about us. What's this? Who are these weirdos? So, to be clear, I am an evidence gatherer. It serves me in my creative capacity, and I wish to thank you for the great deal of evidence your lot have provided to use as it was used in an attempt to terrorize and harass our non-profit. How long have you been building your Facebook presence? It would be a shame to lose all that hard work, or other people's hard work is what I meant to say. Isn't your Facebook and website mostly other people's work? Did you pay them to use it? Let's revisit this brilliant past week, shall we? I reach out to pay your people some money to make some art. It was a very low price that he declined, which he has every right to decline. That is where it all started. You lowballed and he said no thanks. And you had this massive fucking blow up. Holy shit, these guys are weird. Your rebuff tells me in so many ways saying no. What? You rebuff tell me in so many ways saying no. He just said no. Like, all he did was say no, it's too low. Inspiring my deep desire to not have to deal with people like you again and go straight away to AI to make our art ourselves for free. I thank you for this direct result of our interaction, and you lose your mind. Where? Where did he lose his mind? Where was that? I must have missed that stage here, because I certainly haven't seen it. You, sir, are just like your country. You have no sense of holding the Commonwealth together because you're making ridiculous assumptions of how to earn a living. You're selling your minions down the drain with this crap. You foist on them. You foist on them? What is that? Is that a word I don't know, or is he using Rick and Morty gibberish? Foist means to impose an unwelcome or unnecessary person on. I'm not familiar enough with the word to understand if that makes any sense at all in this context, but great word choice. I see he too subscribes to the Webster's Word of the Day. I can only hope you continue to attempt to slam and subvert as we continue to use AI to promote our work and tell the world how we were so inspired by you and your collective to do so. I will literally mention it every time. I am even thinking about reaching out to a friend at Wired UK I've done stories with to share this delicious moment in time. I hope you don't mind if I drop your name in the name of Poster Spy. It's only fitting you get credit where credit is due. How does it feel to be a part of why artists in your realm aren't getting paid? It's a direct result of your super flawed strategy. Bro, Tom McPhee, this man is a menace. This man thinks he's like in Gotham right now. Literally all because he just declined a lowball commission offer. Thank you so much for delivering your masses to zombiedom by attempting to hold back the universe. What the fuck? What in the good heavens, Tom? Jeepers. I fed you perfectly and you didn't disappoint. Now you are the zombie apocalypse. This is the cringiest shit ever. This is worse than that Reddit old copy pasta about, in this moment I am euphoric, not because of some phony false god, because I am enlightened by my own intelligence. That atheism shit. That is Tom. That guy who wrote that Reddit post grew up and became Tom McPhee. Lastly, I'm an OG motherfucker at this shit, and I use little toothpick dicks like you to clean my teeth after a snack. You're using dicks to clean your teeth? Why? Why would you be cleaning your teeth with dick? What the fuck are you talking about? That's like the worst tough guy talk ever. What? Who is this? I can actually feel the steam coming out of his head as he was typing this, trying to cobble together some kind of insults. And he came up with, I'm an OG motherfucker who uses little toothpick dicks to clean my teeth after a snack. So tell me, Mr. Jack, is it me writing that or AI? It's you, Tom, it's you. That would be pretty, like, profound if this had any semblance of potential AI-generated shit. This is not ChatGPT. Not even ChatGPT could be this unhinged and stupid. No shot. This is you, Tom. Let's get some real press on this now, don't you think? This might be a really timely story. For the first time, I agree with Tom. This is a great story. This is, as he called it, a delicious moment in time. What is his organization? Animalis Fabula. It's a film festival? I mean, he does sound like a drama kid. Nothing too crazy here. It looks like the only thing he's ever done is this film festival. Does his LinkedIn say he's an OG? Oh, yeah, it was Animalis Fabula, and then prior OG motherfucker, of course. That was his last occupation. I mean, this is him. He does look like an OG motherfucker. I mean, he's eating toothpick dicks for breakfast or whatever, so... Damn. This almost looks like a mugshot more than like a promotional piece. Maybe it's AI generated. This is an emergency. There is no time to waste. No time for dilly-daddle. Go check your butter right now if you've purchased it from Costco recently. There is a chance that your life is at risk. In fact, if you're watching this, then I'm already dead. Nearly 80,000 pounds of defective, dangerous butter has been recalled from Costco in an effort to save as many lives as possible in the wake of this catastrophe. Costco was selling butter without the label containing information, vital information to the consumer, that butter contains milk. And because of this, so many American lives have been put in jeopardy. Because how are they supposed to know that butter contains milk if it's not put on the label? So they've recalled 79,200 pounds. The FDA is doing their best to save us from this unlabeled butter menace. But it may already be too late for some of the stupidest fucking people on the planet. I highly doubt there's been a single fatality here from the unlabeled butter villain. I would be shocked. But if there is a single person who has dropped dead from it, they probably weren't going to make it much longer anyway if they were too stupid to fucking realize that butter contains milk. Their goose was already cooked. I'm not going to pull any punches. No reason to sugarcoat it. They weren't going to last long in the first place. The only people that have an excuse for not knowing that butter contains milk are toddlers, like actual 6-year-olds. But they're not going to the grocery store to buy themselves some butter. Like, every adult should know this by now, but I feel like we're reaching a point where there's people that unironically believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows, so I guess I shouldn't be as surprised as I am. But when I saw this headline, I was stunned. Absolutely stunned. I thought it was fake. I thought it had to be. But no, it's real. The FDA has recalled 79,200 pounds of Costco butter due to the undeclared allergen. The allergen being milk. Now, to bring us back down to earth real quick, I actually do think there is a positive to take from this, aside from like the obvious silliness of people not knowing that butter contains milk. I do think there is something good here where we have strict labeling protocol and rules around labeling because it is super important. It's a life and death in some cases. If you don't have like strict protocol in place for labeling, you'll end up with like fucking Pink Sauce 2.0, where you have the dumbest label of all time that looks like it's AI generated from Cleverbot, right? Like, the ingredients need to be accurate. People need to know what's in the products they're buying because there could be something in there that could cause them harm. So labels really do matter in a huge way. You need to have these labels be accurate, and in this case, it wasn't. It didn't say contains milk. I don't think it needed to, but it didn't, so they recalled it in order to get the label perfected. So that way everything is accurate. So that is good, but it's still extremely sad that butter even needs that in the first place. Like, you should know, butter has milk. It's embarrassing that this was viewed as an emergency that needed a big recall, so that way the butter could have the contains milk label on it. Like, that is something that I don't even think needs to be present in the first place. People should know butter has milk. It's just unnecessary. But since it's been standard protocol on the labeling for so long that butter has the contains milk label, I suppose it can be viewed as a positive thing that they're taking it seriously enough to recall it to put it back on.
Is recalling nearly 80,000 pounds of butter because of an undeclared allergen. The butter was sold in stores across Texas and includes the Kirkland Signature salted and unsalted sweet cream butters. Apparently, the company did not list milk as an ingredient, which could lead some people to think it's dairy-free. If you do not have an allergy to dairy, it is okay to use, but if you are allergic, you need to toss it out and contact Costco for a refund.
And then once you finish that, promptly contact your local education center for a refund on all the wasted years you spent in class, because it clearly did you no good, you bumbling imbecile, and then go check yourself into Arkham Asylum, because you are fucking insane for not being able to recognize that butter has milk. The only time you will ever find dairy-free butter is when it is labeled dairy-free butter, as some kind of like vegan alternative. That is plastered all on the branding. There's never going to be a time where you see just normal butter somehow not have milk in it. It's impossible. I can't even imagine a hopeless world where some consumer is so mindless and just such a fucking drone that they go to the supermarket and pick up butter, an item they've been familiar with their whole life, look it up and down and notice that it doesn't say it contains milk. So all of a sudden they believe it doesn't have milk, and then they go home and die because it turns out they're allergic. Like, that's what kind of place is this? The recalled products, which were both produced and distributed in Texas, include 1,300 cases of unsalted sweet cream butter and 900 cases of Kirkland Signature salted sweet cream butter. So none of the butter was safe, because all of it was missing the crucial contains milk label on the butter. The products all come with Best Buy dates between February 22nd, 2025 and March 29th, 2025. Sleep in fear. If you've had Costco butter sitting in your fridge recently, you might be harboring a fugitive. You need to check right now, or else you'll be tossing and turning all night wondering, do I have one of the violative products in my fridge right now? In the trading card community, misprints are worth tons of money. But in the real world, when it comes to real products, misprints cost people lives. You are not safe. If you have any Costco butter, please proceed with the utmost caution. I would recommend perhaps dressing in a hazmat suit before handling your Costco butter as you investigate the Best Buy date and try and locate whether or not it says contains milk. Vital allergen information for your butter. I love how they're displaying the Costco butter here in the articles, by the way. It looks like the wanted posters from One Piece. Like, they got the butter up there like there's a bounty for it, like a reward. And I guess there kind of is. You could easily just get some free money from Costco if you have some of this faulty butter. you could just say like, oh, I didn't know that butter contained milk, and they'll give you a refund, I guess. So, I mean, that's kind of a little free money glitch there if you want to use that. But I will say, if there's anyone that genuinely bought this butter thinking that somehow it didn't have milk, you need to be put on a list for dangerously stupid people. I know I've said that a few times, and I'm only half kidding, honestly. I do feel like there actually is a level where someone is so dumb that it is detrimental to the people around them and could actually just be dangerous. And I think this would be like a perfect way of identifying those kind of threats. Absolute fucking morons that are outraged, like, How could you have let this product slip through the cracks without the contains milk allergen information? You almost murdered my whole family with this. Like, if there's anyone out there like that, that is someone that needs to be monitored because they are so fucking stupid that it is going to be a problem soon, if not already. Now, they're taking this pretty seriously from what I can tell, and normally that'd be something to be happy about, that they're being, you know, like, as diligent on it as they can. Like, recently with the listeria outbreak from Boar's Head and all that. Like, that's something extremely serious. That's an emergency that needed to be taken seriously. This is a fucking joke. This is embarrassing, is what it is. That it's like an all-hands-on-deck red alert situation because butter went out there without the contains milk label slapped on it. Because they must think every American is so fucking stupid that if it's not posted on the label, they might be liable for a lawsuit because someone might be dumb enough to think that somehow this butter was in the clear and they'd be allergic to milk and die from it. Like that... Do you know how sad that is? Do you know how fucking sad that is? So the FDA has not put out information on what to do if you have purchased these recalled items, nor has it shared if there have been any illness or adverse reactions from consuming the product. The usual course of action is to either discard them or return them to your place of purchase just in case. So yeah, anyway, that's the big Costco butter breakdown. That's about it. See ya. You're about to see a grown 28-year-old man have a conniption, just a full-blown freak-out meltdown over a chicken nugget story. I'm sure a lot of you have seen and maybe even been keeping up with this McDonald's lawsuit where McDonald's is being sued because their chicken nugget was so hot it gave a young child second-degree burns when it was stuck to their skin for over 2 minutes. Not that it, like, you know, like welded to their skin or anything. It got lodged in between their leg and the seatbelt and was pressed against their skin for over 2 minutes while the mother was driving home. And McDonald's has now been found liable for this whole situation here, claiming that the nugget was cooked at over 200 degrees, it was dangerously hot, and there's a whole lot of nuance and moving parts of this. A lot of people are comparing this to the old McDonald's lawsuit where a woman sued over very hot coffee where she spilled it on herself and then sued for it, saying that it was way too hot, and she did win the case. These two are not related, and I am tired of coming in here like Ebenezer Scrooge to lay down the brass tacks. That woman with the hot coffee was a very different situation where there was a legitimate problem with the temperature the coffee was served at, where it was damn near fucking the temperature of the sun's surface. Like, they were serving liquid magma. So when she spilled it on herself, she legitimately disfigured herself. Like, it was a, like, debilitating burn. They were 3rd degree, served from the 3rd circle of hell. And she had to get, like, a skin grafting procedure in order to fix what happened. Like, it was a lot. Now, in this case with the chicken nugget, we're talking about 2nd-degree burns. There is a wide range of difference between 2nd and 3rd-degree burns. 2nd-degree burns, in very severe cases, can of course be disfiguring to a certain extent, but mainly we're talking blisters. I mean, shit, when we did the Forged in Fire video and I was crafting the finest katana the East Coast has ever seen, I was like a well-oiled machine, a fucking samurai bladesmith. When I was hitting it with the hammer, one of the pieces of the molten, like, metal bounced up and landed on my hand and temporarily fucking fused with me and burnt it the entire time. We are talking forging temperatures. I forgot exactly what that temperature is, the exact number, but it's well north of a chicken nugget. And that was a 2nd-degree burn. And it was only a blister, and after 2 weeks it went away, and now you'd have no idea that I was ever even the victim of such a masculine injury, a fucking blacksmithing injury. And I was 27 at the time, I was a 27-year-old man. I don't have the same superhuman healing capabilities as a child. Children are like fucking Wolverine with adamantium coursing through their veins. They can, like, instantly heal half of the injuries that would have an older person either dead or hospitalized in the ICU. So I have no doubt that the child will probably be fine here, and I do understand and recognize that it's still a very emotionally distressing situation, but the fact that they're trying to say it's entirely McDonald's fault I think is beyond laughable. And I feel like such a fucking cuck going to bat to defend McDonald's like a free PR loser here for them, but my disdain for multi-billion-dollar fast food corporations is outweighed by my disdain for bad parenting, and I really feel like this is an issue of parenting. I think this is the mom's fault. Now I want to summarize my feelings instantly here so there's no confusion. If this chicken nugget had burned this young child in a matter of seconds after being exposed to her skin, then I would agree that something was wrong on McDonald's end where they were serving dangerously hot food and they would deserve to be held liable. If this chicken nugget had fallen onto her lap and given her second-degree burns within like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, even 30 seconds, I'd be like, okay, something's real fucking weird with the way they're cooking up those nuggets. Why are they so hot? That's way too hot. And that's unreasonably hot. But that's not what happened here. That's not the reality of this case. She received second-degree burns after having that chicken nugget pressed against her skin for over 2 minutes. That is a long time. So I don't think there was any hocus pocus with this nugget going on here. I don't think it was a higher temperature than the rest. It was just the only one that got pressed against her skin for such a long period of time. So of course it would cause some damage because of that. I don't think that has anything to do with the temperature. So let's break down the facts of the situation. The mother got their child a Happy Meal in 2019. The child was 4 years old at the time, and she allowed the child to eat in the car unsupervised. Unsupervised might not be the right word here because it's not like the child had like a, a fort in there, like a panic room where they were able to hide away from the mom. Like she could still see the child, but she was able to eat all by herself without the mom being able to do a whole lot to, help in the situation. And I feel like a child that young is not going to know that chicken nuggets are going to be extremely hot. So they're more than willing to just be a little loosey-goosey with some fresh fucking nuggies. And one wild component about this case that I don't see enough people mentioning is the fact that they even got hot chicken nuggies from McDonald's in the first place, because half the time you get served those, they're fucking ice cubes. So they already found a shiny Pokemon here in the fact that their chicken nuggies were even lukewarm, let alone boiling hot, I suppose. So, the 4-year-old gets the chicken nuggets, the mother is driving, and she spills the nuggets on herself. I believe they said about 6 nuggets. And one of them gets lodged between the seatbelt and her leg. And it gets pressed against her leg and starts burning her for 2 minutes with the child screaming the whole time. I think all of this is a big red flag against the mother here. One, letting the child handle hot food like this at such a young age without the mom being able to, help. It just seems a little irresponsible. And 2, taking over 2 minutes to remove a chicken nugget that's scalding your daughter. That seems like a ridiculously long response time. She probably could have dialed 911 and the fire department would have showed up faster to get it off. Unless she was driving on the interstate, I guess that might be a reason or an excuse, but I don't understand how she wouldn't have been able to at least just reach over and brush the nugget off of her daughter's leg. Or pull over and analyze the situation a little bit sooner. It just seems like a really long time. Now let's really dive into the weeds of the situation here. I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to burn science. We'd have to ask fucking Harvey Dent for more specifics, but let's start at the basics. A second-degree burn is classified as a mild to moderate burn, and it's the most common type of burn. Features of a second-degree burn include skin discoloration, blisters, shiny moist skin, pain, discomfort, swelling, and layers of skin peeling away. And I wanted to find information on what temperature foods can start to cause second-degree burns, but unfortunately all the data I was able to collect and find was about liquids and the temperature at which second-degree burns can occur. With liquids, adults can suffer third-degree burns starting at 150-degree water when exposed for only 2 seconds. And burns will also start to occur within a 6-second exposure to 140-degree water or within 30 seconds at 130-degree. So, second-degree burns, from all the data I can find, really start to take place at the 130-degree Fahrenheit mark when exposed for only seconds, literally 30 seconds. And then once you get above there, it's even more instantaneous and even more severe. That's when you start going from second to third degree when exposed for 150-degree Fahrenheit for 5 seconds, stuff like that. There's also this scald chart here, but keep in mind this is all liquid. So it doesn't exactly translate 1-to-1, but if you look here at 124 degrees Fahrenheit, when exposed for 2 minutes, you get second-degree burns. Now, there also is data on for hot pavement, and hot pavement at 130 degrees Fahrenheit can also start to give you second-degree burns pretty quickly as well. But I couldn't find anything for food temperatures. But let's look at some basics here. They're claiming that this chicken nugget had to be fucking going nuclear at over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which to me just sounds unlikely. That would basically be making a chicken nugget and having one of it saturated in pure fat frying oil that somehow gets locked in between the chicken and the breading. So it'd basically be like a gusher of chicken and oil. Because I feel like there's no way chicken itself wouldn't start to liquefy at that temperature. Most chicken is cooked at 165, so it's safe from salmonella. McDonald's is maintaining that it was served at the proper 160 Fahrenheit, which is still, of course, a safe temperature to serve chicken at. And from what I'm reading, no one ever really cooks chicken above 180. 180 is the highest temperature I've seen people cooking chicken, and they claim that it gets really juicy and kind of liquidy. So I imagine if you went into the 200 range, you'd basically get like a fucking chicken broth, like a fucking soup of chicken in the breading. So I just find it kind of unlikely that they'd somehow get a 200-degree nugget, because it already has to go through a long process as well, where it was probably sitting for a certain period of time. So it just feels like it probably would have cooled off anyway if they did cook it to 200 degrees, but I'm not going to write that off as impossible. It could just be extremely unlucky. But even then, if it really was 200 degrees, if that 200-degree nugget got pressed against her skin for over 2 minutes, I think she would have much more than second-degree burns. She probably would be looking at third-degree burns. Of course, that's extrapolating based off the liquid temperature chart for burns, so it's clearly not one-to-one, but even still, I think that's valuable data to give us some kind of baseline in comparison here. 200 degrees pressed against your skin for over 2 minutes, I definitely think that'd be third-degree, not second-degree burns. So what I think happened here is the nuggets were served at the right temperature, 160, which is still very hot. It's hot food, obviously. And it doesn't need to be like some kind of freak rogue chicken nugget that's 200 degrees that burnt her daughter. A normal, properly served chicken tender at 160 could still cause second-degree burns because it got locked against her skin, pressed against her skin firmly for over 2 minutes. I could take a chicken nugget, not even like a 160-degree nugget, like one that's been sitting out for a while, and if I clench my fist around it for 2 minutes, I would probably get second-degree burns too. Like, it doesn't have to be a freakishly hot nugget to cause that, at least not from everything I'm reading here. The problem wasn't that the nugget was too hot, the problem was that it got pressed against her daughter's skin for so long, causing the damage. So I feel like this is just a little silly to say it's McDonald's fault. And one of the things they're coming after McDonald's for is not making it crystal clear that hot food can be dangerous. On Thursday, the jury found McDonald's and franchise owner Upchurch Foods liable for failing to properly warn or provide reasonable instructions on the possible harm from the hot McNuggets dispensed at the Tamarack, Florida drive-thru. That's so embarrassing that we've reached the point that now we need fucking dumbass McDonald's to teach us that hot food can be dangerous. That's sad. Obviously, hot food can burn you. That's like the number one thing a human being learns extremely early in their life. Fucking cavemen knew that fire was hot. Fire equal burn, not good, don't like, ouchie. Like, I can't believe that now we're putting that onus on McDonald's to teach us that a hot food can be hurtful and cause pain when pressed against human skin for over 2 minutes. That is an unreasonably long period of time to experience continuous pain. I also didn't understand this portion of the case either. Ms. Holmes purchased 32 chicken nuggets that day, and the evidence will show that 31 of them was no problem. What do you mean? How would you even have that evidence that 31 of them were no problem? They would have cooled off by the time you start gathering the data on their temperature. And then it goes on to say that she has one burn, and that's the one location where the McNugget was trapped by the seatbelt for 2 minutes. No shit! Of all of the nuggets that fell onto her lap, the only one that caused damage was the one that was pressed against her skin. Fucking obviously, this isn't like a eureka moment like a smoking gun. Ah, clearly it's that one. It's 200 degrees it had to be. It's the only one that had any pressure applied to the skin for an extended period of time. All the other nuggets, I imagine, were brushed off or shaken off in pain, but this one got stuck between the seatbelt and her leg, and I'm guessing while screaming and panicking, she wasn't able to free herself from the pressure being exerted on the nugget and her skin. So that's obviously the one that's going to cause the injury, not the ones that are no longer burning her or anything like that. Fucking clearly. It's not like it instantly touched her skin and burned it. If it did, then I would totally agree that there was something very awry with the process here. If it was only against her skin for a matter of seconds, then I'd be like, oh yeah, McDonald's really fucked up here, because clearly there's no world where a nugget should be so hot that if it touches your skin for like 5, 6, 7 seconds, it should second-degree burn you. That's ridiculous. But when it's pressed against your skin for over 2 minutes, I would expect anything to burn you if it's even moderately hot food. So I think this whole case is just fucking ridiculous. I think it's silly. And honestly, some things are really weird about how long it took to respond to her child screaming in pain for over 2 minutes. Something about that rubs me the wrong way. There has to be a good excuse for it, like driving on the interstate or making it completely impossible for her to just reach over and, you know, hit the nugget off her leg herself. I don't really know, but there's something about that component specifically that I find very odd. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because it's got me tilted, seeing a lot of people talk about it, and it's kind of divisive. It's not like everyone agrees on one thing or the other, but it's just so weird that they were actually found liable here and having to explain that they cooked their food hot to avoid foodborne illness like salmonella. People are starting to question why their food is hot to begin with. Like, how fucking stupid do you have to be to start questioning why food is hot when it's served? There's a reason we cook our food and have been cooking our food for thousands of years now. I don't know why all of a sudden that's being called into question. So, yeah, I just wanted to go over this whole case. That's about it. So, yeah. Growing up, I always thought no matter how old I'd get, I'd always be really in tune with what's hip. Like, what's going on. Like, I thought I'd always be privy to the new stuff, and I would never get to the point where, like, you know, our parents don't understand technology. Like, what is this interweb? Who is this 4chan? But, turns out, as I learned last night on stream, I actually am just getting old. So, chat was blowing up about something called Beabadoobie. And I really thought that was some kind of silly Flintstones meme or something with the yabba dabba doo, which I imagine a bunch of other 30-year-olds have made that joke by this point. Like, it's actually embarrassing, and it feels weird to be at the point where I don't know something that's apparently very popular. Like, and to the point where, like, I don't even understand it. Like, growing up where you'd say, you know, swag. Oh, wow, that's a word I haven't had leave my lips in over a decade. You say swag or YOLO, and your parents would be like, what the fuck is that? Wash your mouth out with soap. Like, at this point, I'm getting there. Like, Beabadoobie sounds like something Adam Sandler would say while playing Yahtzee with his family. Oh, Beabadoobie! But it's, like, I didn't know what it was. And it turns out it's not a what, it's a who. Beabadoobie is an artist. And right now, she's having this, like, viral crash out that I was having a hard time wrapping my head around because the headlines about it and the way chat was talking about it, it didn't even make sense. It'd be like a Beabadoobie crashing out on Livy Dunn. Rizzler gives it 2 booms out of 5. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? But apparently what happened is Beabadoobie makes music. And there was a meme that blew up on TikTok about artists who can sing versus artists who can't sing. And then people went to her page and made like a couple of joke references to it. So then she made a response video where she went ballistic on him for no reason, even saying she never even saw the video they were referencing, so she didn't even know what she was mad about. And she's beginning... I just scat-banned, my god. She's been getting clowned on ever since because it's just a silly meme. I don't know why she'd take it so seriously and go that hard as a response without ever even seeing what it was in the first place. She's been getting clowned on ever since, and on stream I was trying to piece this puzzle together, fucking putting it in tapioca pudding so I could digest it and understand it. And it started to dawn on me, like, wow. No, I actually am just getting old. I keep hearing people mention that. Who is Beabadoobie? What am I getting memed on? Maybe I am just like actual fucking unk status here. Jesus, Beabadoobie? Am I saying that right? Is that the name? Beabadoobie lost all her aura. Oh my god. What the fuck, man? You didn't see the drama with her and Flarkleflunk? I missed that one, yeah. I'm a little behind on that arc. So does this explain whatever the fuck's happening? Because I keep getting asked about Beabadoobie. It's such a good name. Beabadoobie's like Rick and Morty currency.
I've seen so many comments about this, but I've never seen the actual videos. But f***ing men commenting, artists who can sing vs who can't. Like, just tell me you don't get no girls.
The types of videos in question: artists who can't sing versus artists who can sing.
Can't remember how to say your name.
Sup guys, it's a man.
So is what happened? People made memes and she took them personally? Was she like actually upset or just leaning into it? Let me see. I can't really tell. Where can I see like a... I don't even know what I'd type in for this. Oh, here, it says Crash Out Original. 1 minute ago from August. Man, we're right there on the fucking forefront. I'm view #1. Holy. Oh man, this is apparently like a big fucking deal on TikTok though. Every time I type in Biba Doobie, I'm getting like subreddit posts about like all the hoopla. Oh, here, I'm guessing it's this.
I've seen so many comments about this, but I've never seen the actual videos. But the fucking men commenting,
yeah, I saw that, Alexander.
Who can sing vs who can't? Like, just tell me you don't get no girls. Just tell me, like, your mother didn't love you. Just like, you might as well just say it.
That's crazy, Woody.
It's obvious. It's plain. I've stalked your fucking profiles and you're arguing.
Interrupting the rant real quick, I just kind of let it run in its entirety on stream, but I do want to briefly opine on it real quick. All this from a silly meme where NBA Youngboy sings opera and has lasers and flames around him. Pretty unhinged response here. What do you mean? Just, it's probably not all men that giggled at that. I don't know why it's like all... You're an ugly man. You must be an ugly man to have found that humorous enough to make a reference to it loosely. And when you look at the meme, it's really kind of saying something flattering. Like, it's ironic about how she can sing, and then they put the opera music to NBA Youngboy, who you'll see in a moment can't sing. I'm sorry to peel back the curtain on the meme. NBA Youngboy, feel free to prove me wrong with like the golden pipes and like the voice of an angel. That'd be amazing. But from all the evidence that exists of NBA Youngboy singing, it's not quite to the same level of Biba Doobie. So it's a joke. Like, I can't believe it even needs to be explained. I feel like she probably should have watched it first before getting really mad about it. You know what I mean?
Does it hurt me? Not really, if I'm being completely honest. I know men are mad at me because I probably get more girls than them, and I'm not even gay. I'm not even gay. I don't even know what I am. Maybe I'm bi. Who knows? But in all seriousness,
this feels like someone who doesn't give a fuck.
Okay, artists, you can sing VS, you can't. I still got more money than you.
Again, I gotta interject. Pardon? Excuse me? Like, what? What does that have to do with anything? You're talking about a meme and some people that giggled about it and made a comment on it. What is you having more money do in that case, besides just make you look like an asshole? I'll never understand how that ever became a dunk. I have more money than you. Okay, what? So now we can't laugh at you? Like, shit, oh god, I was gonna laugh at that meme, but Biba Doobie has more money than me. She's better off financially. Yeah, now it's off limits. Drats!
And you're still a man. So, also the block button exists. Like, I will literally just block. Also, I just haven't seen any of those videos. Like, I've seen the comments, but I'm just not on that side of TikTok. And I feel like the people who care about my art and listen to my music aren't, like, weird incel men that, like, have no friends. I feel like they have, like, a cool social life and they go outside and touch grass. So, I just don't... It's not part of my radar, but I see your comments and I'm blocking your shit, okay? It's not that hard for me. And they just, like, block keywords, like, it's not... You're dumb. You're dumb.
All this over some fucking SpongeBob memes or whatever the fuck that was? Okay, I mean, that's cool, I guess.
Artist who can sing versus artist who can't sing.
Can't remember how to say your name.
Oh, this is what we just saw. Is that... So that's the whole thing. That's... Okay. It's Baya Badoobie. Baya Badoobie? Not Biba Doobie? It's a Star Wars character name. Yeah, like fucking Rebo. Check out the video of Youngboy singing. It's horrendous. Oh, okay, hold on. I see. So it was like a deeper ironic meme. Let me see. I don't think I've ever heard him sing without auto-tune. Let's see. What do I type in? What's the original called?
Right around in the drop top with a stolen car. Searching for my ops. Hold on. I got my green ass on. Trying to get egg. What's happening? Right around in the drop top with a stolen car.
I see why she got offended, actually. Now that I've heard it without auto-tune, you're not beating those pipes. You're just not. I get it. Now it makes more sense. That's the voice of an angel right there. Yesterday we were blessed with an action-packed evening of internet drama that had me on the edge of my seat for the better part of 2 hours. And I actually think there's something very important to discuss here, not so much with the soap opera itself between the two parties, but there was a little something that slipped during all of this that I think is a really big deal that I want to talk about. Now, I'll go ahead and break down the situation for you in case you weren't on Twitter, and if you weren't, God bless you, keep up the great work, you're doing amazing, champ. Now, it all started on Twitter, but it did spread to Twitch with competing live streams where one side was giving their take on the situation and the other side trying to debunk it. So, it spread like a virus, and it all started with a series of tweets from a content creator named Frosty. He came out with a series of tweets making big accusations against his former employer, 100 Thieves, basically just putting his ass in their face, making all kinds of big claims like them taking 95% of sponsorship deals, as well as a myriad of other problems that he had with the organization. I'm sure I don't need to explain who 100 Thieves is to you, they're one of the biggest names in gaming, but I'll go ahead and give you a brief lore recap just in case my grandma's watching and doesn't know who 100 Thieves is. 100 Thieves is a pro gaming organization started by a massive content creator named Nadeshot. They've been around for about 4.5 years now, and they have really taken the scene by storm. They have pro gaming teams as well as big content creators, and Frosty was part of one of their content creator teams called The Mob. The Mob sailed away from 100 Thieves some time ago, but Frosty has now come out with big claims against the org, talking about how shady and shitty they were. And in response to these tweets, Nadeshot, the founder of 100 Thieves, went live on Twitch to address the controversy directly. And I know Nadeshot doesn't own Arby's, but he brought the meat regardless. He spent about an hour and a half finally pan-searing Frosty's cheeks in front of 45,000 people. It was a pretty well done response to everything, and I do like Nadeshot. However, he said something and revealed something that a lot of people are writing off as okay when I don't think it should be. And that's the percentage that 100 Thieves takes of the sponsorship deals they bring to the creators. This is him debunking the 95% claim from Frosty.
That we took 95% of their sponsorship deals that we brought to the mob. That is unequivocally, undeniably, without a shadow of a doubt, untrue. It is absolutely untrue. There is no basis for Frosty to say this. At one point, I have an email that the key terms of these deals that we bring to the mob, we would retain 85% of revenue. We did 3 deals for them, and two out of the 3 deals, they took home 65% of the revenue from that deal. Okay, 65% of the revenue from that deal.
To me, that's not an amazing look. This is entirely wrong. This is the biggest load of fucking horseradish I've ever seen in my life. I don't know where this 95% number is coming from. It's actually 85. You know, like, that's not much better. Wiggling your finger, well, actually, it's 85% that we'll take up to. Now, Nadeshot, of course, does go a bit deeper into the weeds of it, saying that they did end up giving 65% to the mob for, like, one of their deals in particular, which was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with 120 grand, which means 100 Thieves took 80 grand. They got 35%. And that's still an outrageous amount. I have seen so many people defending this number, saying shit like, well, they wouldn't have had the sponsorships without 100 Thieves, so they're entitled to 85%. And they were generous enough to only take 35%. That is a fat, stinky L of a take right there. That kind of naive mentality is exactly why so many creators have been getting fucked in the face for the last 10 years online. Most creators, professional gamers, streamers, whatever, are pretty young, and they don't realize that they shouldn't be signing contracts that have something that extreme in them, like up to 85% we can retain from sponsorships. Even if it said like 35%, that's still a glaring red flag. They don't realize they're being exploited like that. Now, I don't think Nadeshot is doing this maliciously. This is just how the industry has been for about a decade, where the big businesses know that these people are young enough to not make a big hoopla about the sponsorship cut that they take, because to them, they're just making content, doing what they love, and getting some free money on the side because a company's finding ads for them. And then they'll take the lion's share of the ads when really they shouldn't. I think that's an absolute load of fucking dirty barnacles. You know, that's absolute fish paste. So I don't think Nadeshot's doing this from a place of like evil or greed. I'm pretty certain this is what he's always seen in the industry since he's been in it so long, but that's not the way it should be. I've talked about this a lot. I started a company back in 2018 with Matt. I even made a whole video talking about it publicly. It's called Human Media Group. It's a management company where we manage hundreds of creators, some of the biggest names on the platform. We bring them brands, ad deals, campaigns, all that stuff in order to help them stay monetized and make a living out of the content they love to produce. We started it because of this being the industry norm. I made a lot of deals on like the podcast as well as personally that were really predatory, and I didn't know any better. So over time, I learned with Matt, and we started this company to try and help my friends, and then it grew into just helping any and all creators. And with Human Media Group, we take on average 15% of sponsorship deals we bring the creators, but sometimes we even go as low as 10%. So between 10 and 15% is the cut we take from the sponsorship deals we bring to them. And that should be the norm. You should never sign something or agree to do business with someone that's going to be taking 35 or 85%, allowed 85% in the contract. That's disgusting. That's fucking disgusting. The absolute maximum you should be okay with is like 20%. That is the most any agent or company should ever possibly even toy with taking from the sponsorship deals. And I do understand the take people keep tossing around and regurgitating like a fucking mama bird feeding the baby bird, just vomiting it into each other's mouths. The take of, you know, they wouldn't have the sponsorship deals without 100 Thieves. You're right, but that doesn't mean they're entitled to 85% or even 35%. They're not doing the bulk of the labor. The onus is on the creators. They're doing the heavy lifting. The reason the sponsorship deal is there at all is because the creator is there and they're buying the slot from them. What 100 Thieves is doing, or what any management company does, is they facilitate that deal. They negotiate, they get the terms, and they bridge that. They bridge the deal. You can find deals on your own as a creator. You know, you can reach out to companies yourself. Sometimes companies even reach out to you. The reason why 100 Thieves or any management company at all exists and is effective is because most big brands don't reach out to individuals and don't accept people individually. They will take their ad campaign and their marketing spend to agencies or companies that have a big roster, and they'll buy bulk. They'll say, we have this campaign for this demographic and we want this many viewers, who do you have for us? And that's when the company will provide you, if you're part of their roster, like 100 Thieves, they'll throw your name in there, and if they say yes, then you've got the deal. It's not like they're doing anything that entitles them to such a crazy cut of the sponsorship deal. It's just a pretty ludicrous notion. Yes, the companies like 100 Thieves or any management company does have access to brands that individuals won't, but still, it doesn't mean that they should be taking such a crazy amount from you either.
One of those deals, they made $30,000 each. It was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with $120,000, I believe it was. Okay? And what you don't understand is that we have to employ a partnerships team that needs to go out and source these deals. Then you have account management that handles, once that deal is sold, account management coordinates with everybody else within the company, whether it's marketing, whether it's content, whether it's a deal that is done with talent. And we have to incur labor expenses to make these things a reality.
All of those things he mentions there, Human Media Group also has, and I assure you 15% is still profitable. It's plenty. It's not as profitable as 35 or 85%, but it is plenty. It's not necessary to be taking such a high cut of those sponsorship deals. Now, I do understand that 100 Thieves is not a management company first and foremost. They are a professional gaming organization. They have content creators, they have pro gamers. I understand that, but they do have that management arm clearly, since he's mentioning this team. So I know that 35% is still outrageous. And I do get the argument that will inevitably be made that they only have like 20 creators they're getting sponsorship deals for, whereas Human Media Group has hundreds. So, you know, just going by scale, taking 15% of hundreds of deals is more profitable than taking 15% of 20. And that's a fine argument to make, like, I get it. However, those 20 creators that 100 Thieves has are massive. He mentions a $200,000 deal. That's one campaign. If you took just 15% of that, that's 30 grand from a single marketing campaign with a single member of the 100 Thieves community there. One single group. That's a great take home. It's not as much as the 80 they did take home, but 30 is plenty. So I just completely disagree with all the people defending this 85%, which I think is indefensible. But even the people defending the 35%, I just think that is still excessive, and we need to get past this idea that the companies that are getting the sponsorship deals are the ones that deserve the biggest cut of it or a massive cut of it. because that's just not how it should be. It should be the creators getting the bulk of that deal, because the deal is there because the creator's there in the first place, right? Like, it's just, we're getting it backwards now. We're starting to go in reverse here. So I just wanted to get that point across, that I think 100 Thieves, if it's 85% for all their creators, is outrageous, or even 35%, it's way too high. Now, I do want to go into a bit more just to conclude the entire situation here with the drama. I think overall Nadeshot came out of this looking significantly better than Frosty. One of the big claims Frosty made is that they were completely broke when they were signed with 100 Thieves. They were forced to move to West LA, and their salary didn't enable them to like have any quality of life, talking about like having to skip meals sometimes to pay rent, and that they were living in a $10,000 a month house. And that is true. According to Nadeshot, they did get encouraged to go out to West LA. However, they chose the $10,000 house. And even on Frosty's own stream, he tried to make a point saying West LA is so expensive that, you know, all we could do was take a $10,000 house. But then he goes on Zillow and immediately proves himself wrong, just spits in his own face. He brings up other cheaper alternatives. There were some for like $5 or $6 grand a month as opposed to $10K a month. So they were cheaper alternatives where they didn't have to dump their entire salary into rent. But overall, I don't think they should have been forced to go to LA in general. No one should be. LA sucks. I fucking hate LA. I'm just not a fan. I think it's way too expensive. Their salaries were $2,500 each, and that doesn't go a long way in LA, so I don't think they should have been forced to go there anyway, but they did make a mistake choosing such an expensive place to live. Nadeshot said it was their choice to live there, and it was. He confirmed that there were cheaper alternatives that they didn't even consider, I guess. So overall, a lot of the responsibility fell on Frosty, and a lot of these claims seem to be baseless. But it's a lot of just he said, she said. But again, I think Nadeshot came out of this looking much better. I think he did a great job of defending himself, and Frosty kind of made a fool of himself, especially towards the end where he said this.
You literally provided no proof? Bro, because for me to provide proof, like, what is there to provide proof of? Like, why would I be lying? Like, I would have to show text messages. Like, this is what I mean, bro. This is why I wanted to wait.
You were the one that made the claims. You should have, like, something, I would expect. And what do you mean there's no reason for you to lie? You have plenty to gain out of lying. Well, you know, clout. You got, what, 30,000 concurrent viewers during your stream debunking it, and you hadn't streamed in 3 months, and before that we're averaging a couple hundred? Like, there was so much to gain out of a controversy like this. There's plenty of incentive to lie. At the very least, Nadeshot was open and honest about things, even something as bad as the 85% of the sponsorship deal thing. Nadeshot also pulled up metrics to talk about like how they weren't doing content and certain things. Nadeshot did come with receipts as well as like actual evidence to back up what he was saying to defend the company. Frosty spent the whole stream just saying stories and like talking about things in a roundabout way. A lot of times it just seemed like straight up entitlement, like he was expecting them to bend over backwards to do everything to make them happy at all hours of the day. And so the stream didn't go super well for Frosty. I don't think he did a great job of like proving his claims. Maybe he'll come forward with like actual evidence to support these things in the future, but for now it does look like Nadeshot like did the best here in this situation. I just wanted to talk about mainly the sponsorship thing, since that's what I took a big issue with, not so much the drama between the two of them. So that's really about it. So yeah.